Billy Slater facing jail time, shocking details. In the crimson dust of a Queensland Coliseum, where the roar of the faithful once drowned out the thunder of tackles, can the shadow of a single word cast a champion into chains of his own making? Billy Slater, the kid from Innisfail, rose from the cane fields of far north Queensland like a comet trailed by fire, fullback for the Melbourne Storm, immortal in maroon, scorer of tries that bent time itself. His career was a sonnet of speed and steel. 350 games, 2 World Cups, a pantheon place beside Lockyer and Lewis, his grin a beacon for every boy with a footy under his arm. Now, in the autumn of 2025, as State of Origin scars still fresh in the airwaves, Slater sits not on the coaching throne, but in the quiet storm of scrutiny. A heated radio exchange during the series buildup, words flung like a late tackle, spirals into accusation. Defamation whispers from the Blues camp, a legal summons that threatens not just his legacy, but liberty itself. With jail time looming in the balance of a courtroom drama no one saw scripted. Please like, share, and subscribe for more Sport Talk content. The incident unfolds on a Brisbane morning. Microphones hot under studio lights. Slater dissecting tactics with the fire of a man who knows the field's bite. Across the ether, Michael Maguire, the Blues' steely tactician, counters with barbs about glass houses, dredging Slater's past. A 2006 judiciary date for a boot to a rival's head. Suspensions that once sidelined a prodigy. Slater, voice rising like a tri-line surge, fires back in the heat of the moment, words sharp as a Slater sidestep, implications of off-field shadows in Maguire's own chronicle, personal digs that cross the line from banter to blade. Listeners hold breath, producers cut to add, but the damage skates free, recorded and raw. What begins as locker room lore erupts into legal thunder. Within days, solicitors for the aggrieved file papers in Sydney's courts. Defamation suit, damages sought, and in the gravest clause, a nod to perjury risks from prior sworn statements, escalating to threats of incarceration if falsehoods surface under oath. Slater, the coach who turned underdogs to dynasty, now faces the bench not of strategy, but judgment. The turning point arrives in a sun-drenched hearing room, wood-paneled like an old grandstand, where Slater enters not in maroon, but in quiet wool, flanked by counsel whose whispers are the only plays left. The magistrate's gavel falls like a referee's whistle. Evidence mounts, tapes played, witnesses called, Slater's eyes meeting his accusers across a chasm wider than the Tweed. He rises to speak, voice steady as his old bootlaces. I spoke in passion, not malice. The fire of origin burns hot. I own the ash it leaves. The room stills, a hush deeper than halftime in a cauldron. Maguire, present by proxy, nods imperceptibly, old warriors recognizing the cost of the fray. The crowd outside, a knot of journos and diehards, leans in, breaths collective, as the verdict hangs like fog over the harbor. Verdict delivered, no jail but a suspended shadow, fines, retractions, community service on youth fields, a probation that binds his words like tape on a sprain. Tears glint in Slater's eyes, not defeat, but the raw release of a man who charged headlong and felt the full weight of the scrum. Reporters surge. A fan in a faded Maroons cap clasps his arm. We bleed with you, Billy. The aftermath crashes like a wave over the barrier reef. Social media ignites. Hash-free Slater trends from Cairns to the Cross, clips of his 2017 Origin Heroics remixed with courtroom sketches, fans flooding Maguire's mentions with pleas for peace. 9 News leads with Slater's sentence, a game changer, anchors tones laced with the sorrow of seeing a king humbled. Podcasts dissected like a post-match autopsy. The Roar's forums brim with testimonials. Dads recounting backyard yarns of Slater's grace under pressure, now reframed through this trial. In Queensland, Maroons bars dim lights in solidarity, toasting not the verdict, but the vulnerability, while Innisfail faithful murmur of karma's curve. Australian headlines frame it as folklore reborn. From the 1980s Biff Baz battles to today's tweet-storm tribunals, rugby league's heritage of hard men softened by scrutiny. The code, born in coal dust and camaraderie, now navigates the minefield of modern malice, where a sideline sledge can summon suits, deepening the drama that makes the shield so sacred. Fans react with a tide of tenderness. In Innisfail, where Slater learned to run rings around cane toads, locals gather at the old oval, footies signed in tribute, children kicking goals in his name. Twitter threads weave redemption arcs. Billy's boot in '06 was fire. This is Frost. Both make him human. The NRL, ever the referee, issues a quiet code of conduct tweak, honoring the man by evolving the game he graced. This saga ripples into the league's living lore. Brisbane Broncos faithful, long rivals yet kin, send care packages to Slater's door, jerseys etched with Rise Again. It's a reminder of the cultural chasm bridged by footy. Queensland's unyielding spirit, NSW's street-smart steel, united in awe of a fall that feels like our own. We turn inward now to the quiet chambers where heroes confront their reflections. What does it reveal of a champion Slater, try-scorer supreme, coach of comebacks, who stands accused not of malice, but of the mouth's misfire? It unveils the fragility of fire, that passion, the very spark that ignites dynasties, can scorch the hand that wields it. In the grand theater of sport, where bodies break and banners wave, sportsmanship emerges not as pristine playbook, but as the art of atonement. The bow after the brawl, the handshake over the headline. Slater's trial teaches that true grit lies in the gaze unflinching, owning the off-script line, emerging not unbroken, but beautifully bent. Humanity, in its rawest rugby form, thrives on such tempests. We cheer the charge, yes, but cherish the pause. The moment a warrior whispers apology to the mirror, values like humility rising like mist from the morning dew of doubt. Character, forged in the furnace of footy, shines brightest when polished by peril, reminding us that legends are not marble, but men who mend their cracks with courage. Legacy, then, defies the docket. Slater's story, shadowed by summons, elevates the ethos. To speak fierce, fall hard,